Hey guys, Jim Grant here for AmmoLand TV, and today we're taking a closer look at this, the Ruger American Ranch Rifle chambered in .350 Legend. Now, if your first inclination was, that's a really odd caliber for a bolt action rifle, you're not wrong. I mean, after all, .350 Legend was designed specifically for use in AR-15 pattern rifles utilizing a proprietary magazine, but more specifically to address certain hunting restrictions in states like Ohio that require the round to be straight-walled. So why would you put this in a bolt action rifle? Well, truth be told, it actually sounded kind of silly to me initially too, until I really had a chance to think about it. .350 Legend is an ideal whitetail deer and hog hunting cartridge, and if you want something extremely lightweight and handy, the Ruger American Rifle is definitely it. So before I get started into my proper review of it, let's start at the muzzle and work our way back about all the features on the American Rifle. And I've got this kind of configured in a lightweight configuration, so it's sort of a bush gun or whatnot. And if you're wondering why there was a cut in the video there, no joke, the Goodyear blimp just flew by. And I'm in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. So free plug for Goodyear, I guess. Anyway, it's a lightweight, quick handling rifle. We've got, the barrel is free floated. You can actually fit a dollar bill underneath the barrel, and you can see the gaps here, though. It's very tough too with a camera and the subpar lighting of being outside. But underneath it, we've got a single point sling attachment, which I have utilized right there to attach this inexpensive, lightweight Harris bipod, which makes, for shooting off of any sort of fixed position a little bit easier. When you head back, you'll notice that the receiver has an integrated Picatinny Rail, and I've utilized this Primary Arms GLX 2X prismatic sight. Now, yes, I did just review the 3X, and I was going to utilize that, but I found that the 2X was a little bit lower, a little bit better aligned with the traditional stock here, though you could definitely get the 3X where you want it. But I figured since this cartridge is really limited, at least ethically, to about 200 to 250 yards, a 2-power scope is going to give me a ton of light reception, as well as just enough magnification that I can confirm a target and then effectively engage it. Now, beneath this, it is a bolt action rifle, obviously, but it is a push feed one, and it feeds from modified AR-15 magazines. And yes, your standard AR-15 magazines will fit into this magazine well, but you can only get about 2 or 3 rounds into them before they start kind of misaligning and stacking incorrectly, and it'll cause all sorts of failures to feed and whatnot. The good news is that ASC, the company that makes this magazine, does in fact make higher capacities. This is a 5-round mag included with the gun, though they make 10, I think 20 and 30 round mags as well. So if you want enough ammo in your bolt action to shoot all day, you could probably modify a D60 drum if you really wanted to and just go to town. You'll notice that for the magazine release, it's actually a modified AR-15 push button release. It's kind of half of one, and it works very well. And it's extremely easy to seat these magazines, even when the bolt is closed, and even when the bolt is closed and the mag is full. It's actually pretty nice. As far as the trigger, we've got that little 2-stage trigger right there, and extremely lightweight. I think my Lehman trigger scale put it at about 3.5 to 4 pounds. Perfect for what it is. And we've got back here the Tang mounted safety, which is nice, which you can't actually prime until the gun's been cocked. So right there, when there's nothing visible, there's a little black engraved S, that's safe. And the forward position with the red F, that's fire. The stock is synthetic, obviously. And on the semi-pistol grip section, we've got this molded stippling that's not terribly aggressive, but the gun doesn't kick very hard. And for the most part, you're gonna have 2 hands on this gun when you're walking around with it. Further back, don't worry, this sticker is not permanent. It's on there kind of so when you see it at a shop and you go, who makes that gun? You go, oh, it's Ruger, because I can see it from space. Second point sling back here, or sling mount rather, so you can put a traditional hunting sling across this, and then a recoil pad at the very rear. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. I think when I looked up the ballistic information on the gun compared to 300 Blackout, it's like 15% more felt recoil technically, but I mean, anyone who's shot 300 Blackout knows that it's not exactly a thumper. And I believe overall, in terms of terminal ballistic efficacy, this thing is a little bit beneath like a 30-30, but still, I mean, it's plenty of gun, especially here in the low country in South Carolina, where it's extremely rare to see a whitetail beyond 200 yards. I mean, I don't think I would stretch this thing to 300 or 400 yards, only because it tends to have a pretty decent amount of drop. The sectional density on the rounds in general is good, but not quite as good as 300 Blackout. So you're not going to get the same level of penetration, But that said, you've got the 125 grain, 255 grain rounds. They hit pretty damn hard. So overall, is Ruger's American Ranch Rifle worth its $659 MSRP? Yeah, if you want a lightweight hunting rifle that's kind of great for using as a bush rifle or whatnot, and you're not already heavily invested in an AR-15, or even if you are and for whatever reason you just don't want to take that hunting, this thing works fantastic. Reliability has been literally flawless. I've never had a malfunction. I mean, it's a bolt action rifle. And in terms of accuracy, when I utilized a few of my friends' hand loads, I was able to get this gun down to about 1.3, 1.4 MOA, which might not sound incredible, but again, the round's limited in efficacy to 200 meters. So that means at the very largest, you're getting like a 3-inch group, which if you're aiming for vitals on a deer, that's perfect. That's well beneath the size of the heart. The only other thing I wanted to mention ahead of time is that if you're utilizing a suppressor and you're utilizing the 225 or 255 grain subsonic rounds versus the 125 grain supersonic rounds, the point of aim, point of impact shift between the two is fairly substantial. Now, I haven't had a chance to actually properly measure it yet, but when I was shooting at 75 yards, I was seeing a 5-inch drop between point of aim, point of impact between the two rounds. So it's pretty substantial. If you're going to take this thing to shoot the subsonic rounds at relatively close range, be sure to actually zero the gun to that round before doing so, because again, the shift is fairly substantial. Anyway, overall, fantastic little light gun, and one that I would definitely not feel underarmed with or feel not confident with when taking into the bush to hunt either hogs or deer, though I'd probably want something semi-automatic for wild pigs if I was especially by myself and stock hunting. But for whitetail deer, this thing is fantastic. Anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And of course, hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss anything from us. And as always, for AmmoLand TV, I'm Jim Grant. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.